Cool. We're up and running. Hey, you guys can see that? Sick. Yeah, I think Connor forgot to turn it off. That low rain system in action there. Hey everybody. Welcome to another episode of Live, Laugh, Lukas. What are we gonna do today? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I got peace out to your lawn. You get it. Could I talk about killing your lawn? Yeah, lawns like the way we currently as a society keep them is pretty garbage for the environment. So, it takes a lot of space away from the native flowers and which takes away opportunities from pollinators. It also takes a ton of irrigation to keep the invasive grasses that we use. So you're using a lot more water than you need to. So better just to plant wild flowers and grasses native to where you live. That's the point of this shirt. Hi! And it looks boring. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but it looks simple. That was my phone. We're good. Parrot talk? What's a parrot talk? Parrot talk? Lawns, oh hell no. Oh hell no. Alright, there's a lot going on, guys. Is there anything you want to know about before we go ahead and get started with what we gotta do today? Because I'm not gonna leak the list that I have here, but it's like last couple of days I've just been trying to get organized because we got so much upcoming. Just trying to get myself straight here, and the list keeps going. Like, I get like an initial list jotted down. It's like, that's probably most of it. It's not most of it. The next couple of days I just keep adding more to the list that I have to do. So there's a lot upcoming. It's exciting stuff. Parrot enclosures because Connor leaked yesterday. Yeah, you guys want to know about the parrot enclosures? I just asked Connor if there's anything I can't say. He said no. So I got ideas, Waterfall for parrots? Like, it's not a no. It could be a yes, but that's one of those, like, the last sort of parts of the parrot redo. So, there's going to be like a ton of work to do before any of the water feature stuff is decided. So we'll see. Probably be tired. But also I'm a big fan of waterfalls. So we'll see. The water pressure is going to be a trickle. Well, we're working on solving that issue too. Yeah. Tech Deck Skate half pipe for the parrots? No, but that could be for me. Put that in HQ. So there's a chance, yeah. I'll say there's a chance. But the trick is, if we're going to do a waterfall, like, it's going to be made out of concrete. And to get any, the point of the water feature would be for the birds to bathe. For the most part, they don't necessarily need a sound barrier, which is another point of adding like a waterfall. And if you guys go to a lot of zoos, one of my favorite things to see, especially whenever there's an animal in like a noisy room, because zoos are, kids and field trips, or their parents take their kids out there and in little rooms and get really, really loud. And so one of my favorite things to see is some type of noise cancellation. So oftentimes it's a big waterfall that the water hitting the main stream or pond or whatever at the base makes a lot of noise, and actually does a really good job in those little rooms of blocking out a lot of the noise from the kids, especially if you put the waterfall in between the kids and the animal. So that's a useful tool, but I don't think it's necessary for this enclosure because it's so quiet out there anyways, and the birds don't really care about like the cars driving by or anything like that. So it would just be like extra And I like extra. It'd be cool, but we'll see. They're definitely getting a misting system. So like we could talk about a rain system, but I don't know if a waterfall for that enclosure. Because I mean, dudes, it's gonna have to be like built out of concrete. It's gonna be like a whole plumbing thing. Waterfalls are fun, but like we'll see. So something that I have been trying to find time to do is plan the like continued growth of like the how we keep the reptiles and invertebrates here at Alveus. And so I, like, in the last couple of days, just came up with a little chart because I realized I haven't weighed anybody since I kind of took over for the most part of the reptile and invertebrate care. So I ordered scales to track weight. So like there's one scale that's going to live in the invert room. That's going to be for everybody here. And then Push Pop also has her own scale. And I came up with like a little chart. I was just talking to Kayla about it. And, you know, those like pregnancy charts that kind of like show you how big your baby is or like compare it to another thing. She kind of had that idea for Push Pop. Like Push Pop now weighs like 2 watermelons or whatever. I think that'd be fun. Also, I don't know how to do this, but I'm surrounded by computer guys, so I'm sure somebody will be able to help me. But like plugging it in and literally coming up with like a graph of Push Pop's growth over the next little while. I can show you guys the little chart that I made. It's pretty simple, but I don't know if I should weigh like every week, maybe like every month at least. I think. What do you guys think? Maybe weekly? And I feel like it's got to be consistent. Like if we're gonna weigh Push Pop today, it should be like after a meal. Push Pop's like been pretty satiated recently, which is cool to see. Like Push Pop's not been eating all of her food, so I'm just gonna kind of assume she's mostly full all the time. So I don't know if that matters a ton, but what do I do for my critters at home? I definitely don't plug them into computers. I usually just weigh things as I see the need to at home. So if something's turned down food for a little while or they just look a little thin, I'll weigh them. But I've kind of established a base weight. But at home, I don't have anything that's growing like Push Pop because Push Pop's growing like crazy. So 1st and 15th of the month. Someone suggested drawing circles around her as she grew to make a tree ring type thing. Drawing circles, that's a cool idea. I don't charge my critters. So like twice a month, 1st and 15th. I like it. I mean, would that growth ring just be like on paper? Or like, what would that look like? Yeah, only another decade and a half and Push Pop will be fully grown. I don't know, man. I just work here, yeah. Ooh, there's another thing that I'm working on. So this is, I don't know if, did Connor tell you guys about the wolf irrigation, the wolf yard irrigation that we're doing? Yeah, I did. I'm dealing with the heat. Mostly I'm pretending it's not here. But I know it's gonna cool down a few degrees, so we're not busting out the tank top and shorts yet. Even though I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do the opposite. You're supposed to cover up from the sun or whatever, but my approach has always been just shed them, wear a tank top and shorts and flip-flops. Yeah, so we're doing, it's a crazy setup. Did he show you guys like a drawing of it or anything? It's gonna be Looney Tunes, dudes. It's, it's gonna have its own water, oh dudes, we're on like 5 coffees, like 5 of these coffees today. And words. It's gonna get its own water reservoir. That is probably gonna be like, well, it's gonna be over 1,000 gallons. I'm on team more, just because it sucks to run out of water and it gets really hot here. So I'm definitely on team more. Then we can use the water. I can throw another spigot on it or anything, or use it for landscaping and keeping the plants watered. But at least 1,000 gallons, and then it's got, I like ordered all the stuff, which was fun. I've never done a water project quite like this. So I kind of used all of my resources to figure out what was best. So it's gonna have its own centrifugal pump, and it's gonna run to 4 different, like basically channels or pipe systems, that are gonna power each head. So there's probably gonna be 4 of those crazy gun sprinkler things that will be on different timers. And I think I did the math right. I think it's gonna work. So at different times of the day, we can have one of the sprinkler heads going off, which I'm kind of hoping that the wolves like it and they'll kind of view it as like a way to cool off, because it seems like Aquila really likes the pond, which is pretty cool. I don't have pics because I only just hand draw stuff because I don't do computers very well. I just have my sloppy pen drawings, which I'm not going to show off. Yeah, it's so exciting. AOA's finally figured it out. You don't have to sit outside in the heat all the time. Well, I can come up with new drawings for you guys here. I think, if I've got a pen. Aha! I do. Let's figure out the best way to do this here. Maybe this? Yeah, let's do this. Okay. So if like, this is the wolf enclosure. So like here's the K900-ish. So the reservoir is probably gonna have to be like, we've got like water lines running here, but like I'm probably gonna put like the big reservoir somewhere here, and we have to build like a little pump house or something just to conceal everything, because the pumps are probably gonna be noisy. But basically it's gonna go into a splitter where each sprinkler head, which like there'd be one there, something like there, something like that, something like that. And they each cover about, so it depends on like the gallons per minute that I put the pump to. So like how much flow it's got. But we're going for about 65 feet of what's power? I don't know. What's the word? You know what I mean. 65 feet of juice, I don't know, of flow? What's the word? What am I looking for? Pressure? There you go. And so we should be able to get the drawings, again, not good, but we should be able to get like 90+% of this enclosure watered. So that's kind of the plan right now. Yeah. Well, I already ordered this stuff, so it should all get here. The only thing we haven't gotten is the actual reservoir, because it's still a little bit undecided on what size reservoir we're going with. The summer in Texas, exactly. How do I feel about the growth of the plants in that enclosure? I mean, they're all native, right? So in theory, they don't really need that much water. I mean, it'll keep them from getting super brown towards the end of summer, which would be nice. It does open up more opportunities to plant like potentially more like tropically stuff that would experience more rain if we're already gonna be using the water like we could do. You know, other southern United States stuff where it's just like stuff from like Louisiana or like Georgia or whatever would be able to live in their enclosure now, because those plants are used to the heat, but they're used to more water than Austin gets. So it opens up more opportunities that way. Not that we're going to necessarily do that, but we could. I really like how much the plants are growing. I know that there's a lot of plants in the way of the camera, which isn't that sick. But I'm excited by how much everything's growing already. And I think in the next couple of years, the enclosure is going to continue to look better and better. Oh, that's sick. No, there's a lot of like oh, like what are they called? Dude, that 5 coffee thing is hitting. The brain doesn't flow anymore. Little stems, like blue little stems or whatever, big stems, which have like the really pretty red stems in fall. Yeah, I'd agree. Their well-being first, totally, of course. Their enclosure is really big, and it'd be neat to like spend a little bit of time thinking about like what the plant options are in there. Way for all native, but with the irrigation, I mean, we could get a little fancy with it too. I mean, yeah, we got a lot of options. Something to think about. Yeah, I believe it, unknown. I mean, it was over 100 degrees the last couple of days here. I think today's going to be a little bit chiller, but crazy. I'm not ready for it. I'm still in denial a little bit. Been trying to work mostly inside. All right, let's get rolling. So, we're going to measure. I'm going to go grab the tracker here 1 sec. We'll just go over that real quick. 1 second. So, here's what I've done. We got, let me flip you guys back around here. So this is the little tracker thing I came up with. If I can keep it straight for you guys. There we go. So we've got all the herps that we're gonna keep track of. Got the date. We're gonna get a weight on them. We're gonna just like check, make sure the temps are good, so like the heat lights are still functioning and all that. Like whatever AC unit, anything that we've got, heat on. Make sure that we're still in that range, and then UVI. So all the reptiles or herps have UV available as part of the lighting, and so those lights don't stay good forever. And I mean, even though we use Arcadia here, which is like a pretty solid brand, they still, after about 6 months start to lose some of their juice, but they, they can get a year out of them. So we're just going to make sure that their UV is still in the right zone for that specific animal. And I'm also really excited to get going on tracking, especially Push Pop's weight. But I'm a little curious to see like Patchy's weight as well. And yeah, I'm excited. And this is gonna be cool. All right, I gotta set us up here. Here's the scale I got. I like it. It can weigh up to as much as I weigh, and it's got like a cool little measuring tape built in, which not that I'm gonna use particularly, but it's kind of cool. Might be able to jot down in the note section for Push Pop, like kind of like how long her shell is or something like that. Very shiny. Yeah, it's brand new and sparkly. But yeah. So to do this, it's probably better to have like a container to put the critter in to weigh it. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, 1 second. Maybe something like this. Let's see if this thing needs to be plugged in to work. It doesn't. I love it. So it's got like a charging battery probably. Cool. Alright, heck yeah. Let's see what we're gonna weigh first. I'm gonna bring this out for to walk everybody back all this way. Cool. How much does Hank weigh? I'm not actually gonna track Hank's weight. That would be funny. Grab my little notepad here. Little clipboard. All right, we're rocking and rolling. So to measure the UV, which one is it? It's this one. I like these ones. They've got a good, the solar meter. They've got a good little chart on there that tells you what Ferguson Zone the critter belongs, or the lighting is in, which is nice. So for those of you who don't know, whenever it comes to reptile keeping and UV lighting, we kind of categorize reptiles into different what are called Ferguson zones. The higher the Ferguson zone, the more intense UV the animal needs daily. It needs exposure to. So something like a nocturnal animal or a crepuscular animal. Crepuscular means they come out at dawn and dusk. They generally don't need that high of, they don't belong in a high Ferguson zone. They don't need very much UV. So like Noodle, for instance, is a nocturnal or crepuscular critter. So they do their hunting at night. For the most part, go away. I mean, they'll move around and stuff during the day, but they don't really need that high of that much UV. Noodle still definitely gets a good amount, so we definitely still don't, we offer it, but basically, I think coastal carpet pythons, I have to relook it up, but they are either Ferguson Zone 1 or 2. I have to look that one up again. I know that Noodle can have as much as like upper 2 point something UVI. So if we're south of 3, Noodle is good. I don't remember exactly what Ferguson Zone that is. I think they're Ferguson Zone 1. Maybe you guys know. But Noodle just ate today, so I'm not actually going to weigh Noodle. But we can still definitely check the UV. Hi. So you guys can see right there, right underneath the basking light. So right now, Noodle is getting like 1.8, 1.7. Which I think is pretty on the money, but I'm still gonna jot that number down so we can see see if it lowers next time. What did I do with my little clipboard of doom? There we go. What's the date today? What are we looking at? May 15th, thank you. UVI of 1.8 in the basking spot. And we gotta check temps too. We've got like the I just remembered something. We have like the thermometers and stuff, like those little sensors that tell us the humidity and temperature and allow us to kind of control the lighting based off of how the enclosure is doing. But I still like to use a little thermometer gun. So you guys may have seen Push Pop the other day. It looked like he had a sniper pointed at him, but that was me testing the temperatures. So it looks like Noodle right now, right over their back, it's like 88.6 there. Cold side's about 80, 86. Right underneath the basking light, yeah, 87, 88. So not too toasty, probably right where she wants to be. It's I don't love it, but it's a little bit of a rule of thumb for most tropical snakes. It's more for like if you keep them in like racks, which I don't like. But they need to be able to get their body temperature usually about 82 degrees to function and digest somewhat normally. So I don't want to call it a rule of thumb because I don't like it, but just so you guys know, just some perspective on the temperatures that I'm looking out for. I'm looking for a gradient, but as long really as Noodle can get north of 82, we're good. As long as Noodle's not cooking, and Noodle is not cooking, so we're looking good. I'm still gonna jot those temps down. I saw 88 degrees Fahrenheit there. I'm just gonna check the cold side, see what the ambient temperature's like. Cool. That's kind of sick. So depending on where I'm pointing this laser at Noodle's enclosure, the forest floor is like 70 degrees, but up above it's like 85. I saw about 88 as the warmest spot. So there's a pretty serious gradient in temperature, which is kind of sick. It allows noodle to make some decisions for themselves. Cool. Yeah, I mean, as long as you give them enough spaces to get as warm as they need to get, but allowing them the option to get cooler. I have kept snakes like at previous places that I've worked, and I mean, basically I've like learned a lot of this through trial and error, and I've had some snakes that found the coldest corner that I didn't even know was an option. And get like not stuck there. That's just where they want to chill, and so they get so cold that they stop being able to move, and that's pretty scary. So making sure that they can't get too cold or too hot is pretty seriously important. I've seen a lot of reptiles burned because they get too hot. You know, they sit under, you know, too much UV, too much heat. So a gradient is sweet, but it's got to be in kind of a sweet spot. Hello. I don't know how to get you out. Maybe we can try tempting you with a cockroach, eh? Yeah, proud to say I've never burned a snake, but there have been some snakes that found some crazy spots that yeah, snakes they'll get into every little nook and cranny of their enclosure and freak you out one way or another. They're really good at that. Looking for, here we go. Yeah, I mean, what kind of behavior are you talking about with the garter snake? What do we think, little guy? Can we motivate you to move with a cockroach, please? You seem content squished in there, though. Do you know this game? Toast is very content where Toast is at. Huh. Looks like Toast is full too. I don't think we've ever had Toast turn down a cockroach before. Are you getting over them? They're no longer special? Oh yeah, for sure. So like, oftentimes you can find snakes. Like if you're ever looking for them in the wild, if it's like a cooler morning and the sun's coming up and like I don't know. I often look for like hillsides where the sun, you can kind of like watch the sunrise from. Snakes will often go find the warmest spot, and they're kind of slow and sluggish if it's been a cold night, but they're looking to warm up pretty quickly. So I'm sure that's what you're seeing. Garter snakes being a little sluggish because it was a little too cold. Okay. So it looks like where Toast is at right now, there is less than 0.2 UVI, and then out in the middle here at ground level, we're getting like on this side 1.2 to 1.4. Ground level over here. Yeah, more of the same. So, chat, for those of you who don't know, the reason why giving UV is, well, especially UVB wavelengths is good for your reptile, so that's how we make, or we basically take in calcium. Long story short, so our bones grow, well, we don't get like deformities or weak bones or anything. We need sunlight to make calcium, or not make, take in calcium. And you can take supplemental vitamin D3, which is what we basically make for ourselves whenever we get exposed to UV. We need the vitamin D3 to take in the calcium. So you can take supplemental vitamin D3 with, I mean, it's sketchy because if you take it as a supplement, then you have to digest it. You have no choice but to take it in. And overdosing vitamin D3 can be pretty bad. You can get things like gout, liver damage, kidney damage, and it has definitely killed a lot of reptiles. Because you get like the cheap supplements, and they just come loaded with D3. You stick your reptile outside, so it's already eating the sun. And or you're giving it a ton of UV, and then you just give it a bunch of vitamin D3 as a supplement, and then it gets kidney disease and dies. So it's good to offer UV, or outside time would be ideal, because when you are exposed to UVB, your body stops making vitamin D3 once it's full. You can't really overdose from D3 if you just get a lot of sun. You can overdose it if you take it as a supplement. And so, oh, look at you, you're coming out. Hi. And so making sure that we're either carefully dosing a reptile with vitamin D3 and not offering UV, or offering enough UV and minimally dosing D3 to the level where like it's just not going to hurt them. So that's what I like to do, is offer enough UV, and just, once a month I'll come behind with something with a tiny little bit of vitamin D3 in it, just to make sure they have enough. But it's a complicated thing. I don't know if I explained that very well. Again, the 5 coffees thing is kind of getting to me. I've been doing that a lot. Hello, what do we think? You guys see toast? Need a 6th. Well, do you want to come out? I'll go grab you your ladder. Is that how that works? It seems so steep. Maybe this? No, I want to test the scale too. Yeah, come on, this is fun. Let's figure out how much you weigh. Hey! Hi. Well, you got sharp claws there, dude. Let's do kilograms here. All right. Whoa, dude, you're a perfect 0.7 kilograms. I like it. Let's see how warm you're able to get. It's like 88. 87 up there. Dang, it's toasty. $84, 88 up there. 88. It's like 80 down on the ground. Toasty. What was the max UV here? Another thing, if you guys are reptile keepers out there, there's like kind of like the one like solar, there's usually something about the sun in the name of the type of light that's a basking light that does a ton of UV initially, and like a power sun is one that comes to mind, but they often output, depending, especially if you get the cheap stuff, they put out so much UVB that you could pretty seriously burn your critter for the first couple of days, sometimes weeks, and then they simmer down to the right output, but then they die really quickly. They lose a lot of that. 8 UVI is the max that I saw. So those generally, I don't like relying on them for a source of UVB. Unless you have like a big room or something and you're heating it, or like you're trying to give an alligator or something huge UVB, then I like them in that context. All right, who's next? Let's see. Hi. Dang, Patchy, you came out ready to go. Yeah, I do have a good recommendation. Solar meter. They're expensive, but they work really, really well. Solar meter, but there's like a couple different UV sensors. For reptiles, I mean, you can convert to find the UVI pretty much with any of their sensors, but doing that crazy kind of math to convert it to this unit is insane. I tried a really long time ago, and I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to do it. And so I don't need to be, though. Just get the UVI reader with a Ferguson Zone on it by Solar Meter. That's good stuff. Hi. Would you guys ever rescue a crocodile? I mean, that question's above my pay grade. I don't make that call. I've taken care of a lot of crocodilians, so I would be up for it. But I don't know if Alveus would ever. Hello, Patchy. How are you, like, all in here, dude? That's crazy. I don't think I've ever handled Patchy before. Let's see how much you weigh. Oh dang, you're huge. 1.13 kilograms. Alright, time to take some readings. Yeah, Patchy's way smaller. But I'd be curious to see how much Patchy grows here. Oh dang, sweet. On the top shelf, Patchy can get pretty serious UV. We're looking at close to 4.0 on the UVI. Dang. Alright, sweet. So Patchy's got a pretty good gradient going on with the UV. I like it. And then let's take some temps. Okay, bye, Patchy. No, don't go back there. And back out, yeah. Okay. Okay. Patchy's enclosure, we may need to adjust a few things. Patchy needs to be able to get just a little bit warmer than they're able to get right now. I have to turn on a heat light a little bit more often or so. Foiled again. Sorry, dude. All right, let's put you back. All right, cool. No, I never take him outside for a stroll. I don't know if people have before. I would definitely be on board, like personally, with giving like the reptiles outside time in like specific enclosures, like tubs or something that other critters don't come in and out of. But I don't necessarily recommend outside yard time. They just get exposed to all sorts of mites and stuff. And for those of you who've ever had to deal with snake mites, it sucks. And I would hate to bring that into an enclosure, or have one of our animals have a problem with that. So, but I'm definitely on board with like getting like big kind of like horse trough style tubs and having like an open top depending on where you live, because then you got to worry about like birds of prey and stuff looking at your animals. So you got to make sure they've got a good amount of hiding space, and that's not really a thing. So I mean, I've got mixed feelings about that too. I believe you. The snake mites are crazy, dude. Where I used to work, we had an outbreak, and the entire collection of snakes had it, and oh my god, there were so many, like dozens of snakes that, treating sucked. And like, if you're doing like the ivermectin injections and stuff, which I had to do, that can really quickly kill one of your animals if you overdose. So it's just a little bit of a sketchy thing. All right, we got weights, temperature readings on these dudes. Let's try and get Georgie here. All right, guesses on how much Georgie weighs? Yeah, I mean, I'll show you guys a little bit of what's left to do with the saltwater tank too. Before we go off and hang out with Push Pop here. $5 grams, I like it. 2 kilograms. All right, looks like Georgie's able to get up to about 1.7 on the UV, or sorry, 0.7 on the UVI chart there. 7 UVI. Whoops. Let's get some temp readings here. Hold on. Yeah, it's raining. Georgie, that means go in the water, right? Oh, Joe was out here, and he was talking about trying to sync up the rain system with the weather in the part of Africa where Georgie's from, which I think would be really cool. I don't know how to do that, but I think if we can, that would be super extra and awesome. Georgie went swimming, yeah. Yeah, Georgie did go swimming. And I know there's no pictures. Nobody saw it. So where's the proof? You just got to take my word for it, because I am a very serious guy, and I wouldn't lie to you. Georgie went into the water at night whenever nobody was looking. I came back in and I checked the water because the aquarium's still pretty new. I test for like an ammonia spike or nitrate spike. Not so much every day now, but maybe every other day I test for that. But I test the pH every day and make sure the temperature is right for the fish. And so I came in to do that, and all the plants were everywhere. And there's a big fat poop at the bottom of the water. All the leaves that he had been kicking up on the bank of the aquarium part were now in the water, and Georgie was covered in floating plants. So the only way that happens is Georgie went in. He's just super sneaky about it, and he's shy and doesn't want... He's not ready for everybody to see that part of himself yet, but I'm hoping he will soon. All right, Georgie, let's get a weight on you, huh? Dude, Georgie, you're huge. No, I don't want pounds. There we go. Dude, massive. Georgie is chilling at 1.35 kilograms. What does that mean? Dude, it's almost 3 pounds. He's a big boy. He's definitely got some meat on them bones. Yeah, he's chilling. All right. Last thing, I just gotta check the temps, and then we're out of here. Perfect. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. So the coldest part back in his little cave area, if he wants it, is about 74. And then outside, I'm seeing 78, 80? Yeah. It's a pretty sweet gradient, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I like to see it. Alright, little friend. Georgie's like, the heck was that? Everybody calls him King George in chat, and so now I just think of that every time I look at him. I'm like, Your Majesty, King George. And now I imagine him with like a fancy old English accent. You guys are going back in my wrist here. Let's see. We serve King George. We all serve King George. It's time for the royal weight taking. All right, real quick. This is how the saltwater tank's going. Is going. I did started the plumbing, so we've got, just so you guys all know how it works, is the water shoots out from here, right? And then the water level rises to the point where it overflows through these holes and then goes down in there where I've got a drain plumbed in. So the gravity feeds down into this little doodad, which this is, I can't remember what it's called. Basically takes like a lot of the poop out. And then it's gonna go down through that pipe, out through the bottom of there, and it's gonna fill this reservoir, but I have to put another piece of glass in here still to make a refugium area. And this is a protein skimmer, so that just helps remove extra protein that builds up in the water. So yeah, it's basically gonna go from those two over a piece of glass I have to install here into what's called a refugium, which basically grows all the beneficial bacteria and algae and stuff that a lot of corals need. Fish will benefit from it too. And then it's going to go into this return pump, but here's the fun part, because we're not doing just your ordinary frickin' heater. We got one of these bad boys. So this is a heater and a chiller. And so this is what I have yet to plumb in, but that's going to live right in this gap. And we almost got there. So it's gonna come up, the water gets pumped up through here, and there's a T, so half of it's gonna go up and back into the aquarium, and half of it's gonna go that way through the chiller slash heater, and then it's gonna get returned back into here. So that's the last stage of the plumbing, and then it's all Lindsay to finish this part, which I'm really excited about. So we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, let's rock and roll. Real quick, just some highlights that I've noticed that make my day. This bromeliad here is flowering. This is one of the bromeliads that I'm growing here, and I freaking love it. Love to see it. Happy plants. Happy Lukas. Another cool get that I found at a local nursery is this, and look at this freaking flower. So, do you guys know the pipevine swallowtail? So pipevine swallowtails, they lay their eggs on pipevine plants, and depending on where you live, there's different native pipevines probably. Here in Austin, there's a specific one, Aristolochia erecta, which I have yet to find seed for. But a nursery did have this one, and this is from Brazil, I think. But I just freaking think that this is the coolest flower ever. Pipevines will still lay eggs, and the caterpillars will eat that plant and grow into butterflies still. So I wanted to get one for like the native one for the pollinator garden, but I still haven't found seed for it. But This one can live up on the porch and still feed the pipevine swallowtails, which I like. All right, let's go check out Push Pop. Georgie did go swimming, yeah. That's so sick. Do you know the species of the native pipevine that you're growing? No, there's no clip of Georgie going swimming, unfortunately. He's sneaky, he's still shy. He's still figuring out how to do it. Dude, that'd be wild. A thermal enclosure, or a thermal camera for Georgie. It'd be wild. Hi. Do we cut the grass anywhere on the property? Heck no. Does it look like we cut the grass? Nope. Check out how Push Pop's garden's doing. I threw up some bromeliads up there because I like them, and the tortoise can, Push Pop can eat them. I like it. Got all the Turk's caps starting to bloom. Love it. And of course these guys are just going crazy. Is that thunder? That's crazy. Hell yeah. Oh. Smush is charging. Aristolochia macrophylla. Well, that's the thing, is like everything's Dutchman's pipe. Like you could call that that Aristolochia that I showed you, it's called Aristolochia fimbriata. You also call that Dutchman's pipe. I think it's just the common name for the pipe vines. But I'll have to look that one up. Aristolochia macrophylla. Hell yeah. Oh, where am I gonna weigh you? Better to have an even surface, maybe out in your yard somewhere. Wonder if that'll throw off the accuracy. Maybe. Whoops. We're still gonna do it. Let me find the flattest place to weigh this dude. Here we go. Well, that's the thing, is all of the hanging plants, they grow and spread, they'll like dangle down and drop down for the tortoise to eat. Those outside bromeliads, I'm just gonna take the pups off. Like they kind of shoot off little baby plants from their sides, and every once in a while I'll just take one and throw it in the enclosure. Let's see. Oh, dudes, I'm so excited. Guesses on Push Pop's weight? That's not a good spot. Chat, what do you guys think? Oh, that seems good. At least 2 double cheeseburgers. Somebody Google how much a double cheeseburger weighs ASAP, please. I need to see. It's a double cheeseburger, like in total, like half pound maybe. So 2 double cheeseburgers, 2 pound or a pound. Could be. Dude, that's thunder. Hell yeah. $161 grams. Quarter of a Maya. All right. 8 pounds. All right. I gotta preload up. Well, Push Pop's been eating so much and so well. I don't know if there's any snacks I can really give Push. Push Pop's got all the snacks they kind of need. We've had some fruit or something. Oh well, next time. Oh, it's so much nicer in here, dude. Okay. Dude, Push Pop's huge. Oh man. I'm gonna have to start getting a... Dude, you're like almost as wide as this new scale I got you. That's crazy. Okay, cool. All right, we're on kilograms. Let's see it. Are you gonna stay put? Whoa. Dude, you're 6.2 kilograms. Or 13.66 pounds. That's crazy, dude. You're 13 pounds. Dude, crazy. Thank you, Push. There you go. Oh no, he didn't like that very much. Sorry, dude. Oh. She's like 5-ish Georgies? Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. What if I gave you some mulberry for your time? Real quick, let's check the UV situation. Awesome. 3.2, 3.4. Cool. And then temps, let's get a read on that. It's 94. Over in Push Pop's charging station right now, it's anywhere from 86 to 82. And Push Pop inside right now can get on the warm end there about 92. It's pretty decent gradient, but outside it's super hot, so I like it. Dude, it's crazy to see how big Push Pop is now. And like all I see are like the old photos. You're so big. Push Pop's Enclosure makes me happy. It's so green, so happy. All right. Well, I think that about does it. Whoa. I think that's all I got for today. Any last questions? Yeah, it's like a jungle. Yeah, I'm happy with this. This is sick. I'm also really happy with that thunder. Could use some rain. We lived, we laughed, we Lucased. Of course. An Enclosure suggestion? Like, what do you mean? Like a brand? Or like a size? I feel like I'd have a lot of suggestions. Enclosure suggestion, I mean, like specifically what? You bet. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Live Laugh Lucas t-shirts, it's crazy. Dude, yeah. Check this out before we go. Look at this, the little dude's trucking along. Look at these growth points. You seeing that? Dude, this cactus is a survivor. I love to see it, it's crazy. And this little pad that's fallen, I don't want to move it because I've already moved it enough, but it's got roots that are growing in. Dude, cactuses blow my mind. So cool. Push pop can't kill it. It's like the underdog to the story. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Switch back, I think.